We're going to look at various aspects of defense today. As you probably know, defense is often said to be one of the hardest aspects of bridge. So we're going to look at a few examples and see if you can figure out the right defense in different circumstances. Let's look at this one where West, your partner, opens with the three of spades against three no trump. South has opened a weak no trump. North raised to three no trump. And you should be thinking about what that three of spades means, what your partner likely has. And let's suppose that declarer plays a low spade from dummy. And I've got the very first poll for you right away, which is what do you think you as East should play? The Jack, the 10, or the 5? So let me launch that poll. And the majority have gone for the Jack, with the second choice being the 10. And if I switch back to the screen, I can tell you that if you chose to play the Jack, you made a mistake. The correct card to play is the 10 here. Third hand plays high, but they play the bottom of any sequence. So you should play the 10 here. You may think it may not matter, but you're giving a wrong message to your partner. If you play the Jack, you're telling your partner that you don't have the 10, and your partner will expect declarer to have the 10. That may or may not affect the defense, but it is a mistake to play the Jack here. If you're not sure of that, do look at my videos on third hand play, or I've got some handouts on my website, in particular this one on third hand play may help you understand the rules about third hand play. Anyway, you play the 10 and it wins the trick. Declarer plays the 5. And at this point, you should be thinking about the likely spade layout. You should be thinking about, for example, who has the ace, who has the queen of spades. And you should also be thinking about how many spades you think your partner started off with. And in fact, that's the question for the second poll. How many spades do you think West started with? Have a look at the results. And we have a dead tie between probably 5 and probably 4, with one person saying they can't, they can't tell. So let's think about this. Your partner's 3 of spades is presumably their 4th highest from their longest and best suit. And the fact that it's their 4th highest should lead you to think about how many they started with. They led the 3, but no one has played the 2. So unless declarer has the 2 of spades and didn't play it, in other words, they're false carding by playing the 5, your partner has the 2. And if they have the 2, they probably led 4th highest from a 5 card suit. And that may help you decide, how to defend here. It means also you should probably work out that declarer is unlikely to have the ace or the queen. Surely they would have played one of those cards from their own hand and beaten your 10 if they had either of those cards. So I think it's most likely that my partner led from a pretty good suit with the ace and queen, and it was a 5 card suit. And doing all this kind of thinking probably will steer you towards the correct defense, which is to carry on in spades. Yes, we should now carry on in spades, carry on with the Jack here, high from 2 remaining, so we don't block the suit. My partner plays the queen anyway, and declarer decides they want to win that one with the king. And now we should realize we are in good shape to defeat this contract. If we can get in with our king of diamonds, we've got a spade left to carry on with spade. So declarer might try cashing some hearts first, but at some point they may lead a diamond. And if they try the diamond finesse, we'll get in and we can lead a spade back. So pretty simple defense, you may think, but played this way, your partner wins the 9, the ace, and has another spade to defeat the contract. After that, declarer will get in and will be able to make the rest. But you'll hold him to 8 tricks just by sort of normal defense there. Anyone have any questions on that? So I do recommend you try to get into the habit of working out these kinds of questions. Who has the missing high cards? Sometimes you're able to work out how many cards your partner has in a suit and try and find the best way to defend. It may steer you towards the best defense. Let's try this one. And this time, South opens a weak 2 spades. You pass, and North bids 2 no trump, which, if you ask about, is saying that's a game, feature request, asking if South has got any features outside the spade suit. But South just goes back to 3 spades, and that ends the auction. And you decide to lead the ace of diamonds on here. And that, of course, wins the trick. And I'd like you to look at dummy now, look at your own hand, and I'd like you to choose what you're going to play at trick 2. You've just won the first trick with the ace of diamonds, and the question is, what do you think West should lead at trick 2? Here comes the third poll. Results. We've got a very wide range of results. The King of Diamonds or Heart were most popular, followed by a club, and one person suggested a spade. Well, let's think about what we know about the South hand. South has got hopefully, presumably, a reasonable 6-card spade suit, and not much else outside. So what do you think De Clara's plan might be on this hand? Well, one thing we know is that there were only 2 diamonds in dummy, the Queen and the 6. And it's quite likely that De Clara has got more than 2 diamonds in their hand. So it's quite possible that De Clara has some diamond losers, which maybe they are planning to ruff in dummy. And I think once you see dummy and you see the shortness in diamonds and the fact that there are only 2 trump in dummy, that should lead you to lead a trump at trick 2. Yes, that's my choice. My choice is to switch to a trump because you want to prevent De Clara ruffing diamond losers in dummy. You might think you'll cash the King of Diamonds first, but that's making it easier for De Clara to ruff diamonds. I would hold off on the King of Diamonds. You'll take it later anyway, but now switch to a trump to try to prevent those any diamond ruffs that are coming. So I would switch to a trump. On this occasion, your partner happens to have the ace, so they win it, and they should cooperate with you by continuing with another trump. And now De Clara has no more trump in dummy and won't be able to discard any diamond, ruff any diamond losers. So De Clara now plays another spade, and they draw, I think, the last trump there. And then they play hearts, and De Clara tries the heart finesse, but East, your partner, gets in. I'll just bring up the 4 hands at this point. And having won the king, I think East is probably going to switch back to a diamond. And you have the king here, which will win the trick, but you can now cash another diamond. Your partner's got the 10 and the 9, and they'll make at least 1 more diamond trick. After this, your partner might carry on with diamonds. Even though De Clara is able to ruff that, it doesn't really help him anyway. And now De Clara can play the hearts. He set up the hearts, can discard a club, but played that way, you will hold De Clara to 8 tricks there. So this was the layout. I mean, anything could work out well. It turns out that leading a low club, which was what some of you chose, is not a particularly good choice because it helps set up declarer's long suit, and it also allows them to take a trick with the queen there. So I think once you see dummy, you should seriously think about switching to a trump there to prevent the diamond ruffer. Declarer could possibly make one more trick if they're able to ruff a diamond in dummy.
Tony,
Yeah,
why not take the king of diamonds anyway?
right. Well, because if you're
And then play a trump.
on this layout, you'd still be able to draw a trump. But if your partner didn't have the ace of spades and you'd cash the king of diamonds, if declarer then wins the trump that you play, they'll be able to ruff a diamond. Whereas if you don't cash the king of diamonds, then they in that situation they can gain the lead in trumps, but when they lead another diamond, you can win your king and then play another trump. So
Yeah, my fear would be, although obviously not on this hand, that they could discard that queen on something else.
which queen? The queen of diamonds.
Queen of diamonds.
Yeah, I mean it's unlikely.
I know it's unlikely
Based,
seeing the setup, but
well, I mean based on the fact that South's got a long spade suit. So
I
I
have to
don't.
say I wouldn't think of that at all. I think get rid of the queen of diamonds.
Yeah, well,
I just couldn't see that far ahead, to be honest.
yeah. I mean it's just. I mean there are two things in the North hand that should make you think about switching to a trump. One is the shortness of two diamonds there, and also the fact that North only has two trump, so you
Yeah.
have good prospects of being able to draw them and prevent the diamond ruff. If you think about it, it's quite likely that South has got more than two diamonds in their hand, and so that's the other reason behind trying to draw the last draw trumps. Okay,
Okay.
let's try this one. This time,
Tony,
yeah,
can I just ask a question on the first one, first
first one,
ball? Yeah, the one we've just done.
the second one.
Yes, second one, sorry. My plan was to play the heart, and I was almost 100% certain that the king of hearts was with my partner
Yeah,
because South had said he hasn't got anything.
correct.
So I thought, okay, let him take that trick either or the dummy drops the ace,
Yeah,
in which case the partner will have another chance to.
yeah,
And so I was hoping that they try a finesse and the king will make a trick.
yeah,
And then dummy will come back to me, or my partner would come back to me and allow me to take the king of diamond trick.
right,
And then I would play the spades.
right.
I mean, does that make any sense? Or is that just.
No, I mean it's a reasonable thought process, which is great. The only problem in playing hearts is
Uh-huh.
that dummy is very strong in hearts, and you're
Yeah.
probably setting up, a trick or two for declarer if you play hearts. If dummy's hearts had been a bit weaker, if maybe they just had the ace and the queen or something, then
Mhm.
then that makes more sense because maybe your partner will be able to get two heart tricks if they had, say, the king and the jack. But as it is, probably your partner's only going to make one heart trick, and they're probably going to make it anyway.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
that's why I would recommend switching to a trump to start with. But
Mhm.
I think it's very good to think about that, and obviously sometimes you'll make a certain play based on certain deductions, and it won't work out, and other times it will. But I think on that one we just looked at, I think the trump switch is looks attractive. Let's
Uh-huh.
try another one. Here, South
Thank
opened
you.
one spade, you're West, and you overcall two hearts, and North jumped to four spades. And maybe you'd like to bid something again, but you're not going to come in at the five level here. So you pass, and you start off by leading the ace of hearts. And down comes dummy, and we sort of see there's a pretty nice dummy there. So let's see if we can cash some hearts. My partner plays the two. That's probably discouraging. Probably means he's got possibly three hearts. Anyway, let's play the king. We follow up with that, and we may as well play the queen, even though we think that Declarer is going to ruff that, which they do. So Declarer now starts playing trumps. So we follow to the first round. They play a second trump, and your partner discards, and you have to decide what to discard. And your first choice in discarding here should be the hearts, of course, because Declarer has already ruffed those. There are none in dummy, and the hearts are actually a liability. You never want to lead a heart in this situation, or you'd be giving away a ruff and discard. So you discard a heart, and Declarer has either lost track of trumps or is just playing this way to try and make you discard something to their advantage. They play another trump. This time, let's suppose we play a club, and they follow up now with the 5 of trumps, play the 9, and I've got the next poll for you here. As West, what are you going to discard? Declarer has been playing out lots of trump, and he's forced you into a situation where you have to discard. And the question is, what should West discard, a club or a diamond? Have a look at the results. And the majority here have gone for a diamond, 75%, with a quarter of you selecting a club. And let's switch back. Well, you've got to discard something. You'd like to keep your honours protected. But the clue here is what you can see in dummy. And there were only ever 2 diamonds in dummy. So I think that if Declarer had more than 2 diamonds in their hand, including some losers, they should have been thinking in terms of roughing those in dummy. But they haven't done that. So you should keep length with dummy and discard the diamond. It's more likely that your club is more useful because you can see 3 clubs in dummy. And if I bring up the 4 hands, you can see this is the situation with the last 5 cards, that Declarer has deliberately played off all the spades just to give you difficulty in discarding. And if I click here on the GIB button, it will, sorry, if it comes up, it's not coming up. Oh, it will say that basically if I discard a club, Declarer can make an over trick. I can't stop Declarer making 4 spades here, but I can hold him to 10 tricks by discarding a diamond. And then Declarer will inevitably lose a club here if you've kept the Queen of Clubs. So that was an example of keeping length with dummy. And you can see that if you imagine that Declarer instead had 3 diamonds instead of only 2, they wouldn't be playing this way. They would be playing 3 rounds of diamonds and roughing. So their failure to do that means that they couldn't, they probably only started with 2 diamonds.
Tony, my theory, because I went for the wrong one, was that my partner had thrown away a diamond. Therefore, what did you recommend? Keeping a diamond?
No, I recommend keeping your 3 clubs at the end.
Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll get rid of clubs. He's got the diamonds.
Right.
So I'll get rid of a club.
But of course, he doesn't have anything useful in diamonds.
No, well.
Yeah, I mean, your partner didn't really signal anything
no
to help guide you in this case. It was well worth looking at what your partner signaled, and it could have been useful, but I don't think it is in this case. They've really got nothing to encourage you with in any suit. So
sure, he's got no points.
No points at all. Yes, it's a pretty grim set.
No.
In fact, you can probably work that out based on once you see dummy and you realize dummy's got what 13 points, I think, and you've got a lot of points there.
Yeah.
Partner is very, very weak.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's try this one. This might be the last one. Here, East, your partner opens 1 heart, South overcalls a spade. And my poll question for you is, what should West bid here? What do you think West should bid on this hand? So have a little think about that. Count your points. And the most popular response is one no trump, followed by double, then pass. And one person said two clubs, and one person said two hearts. And let's see what we think. Well, although the hand is kind of suitable for one no trump, I don't like bidding one no trump after an overcall unless I have a stopper in the opponent's suit. And Jack 9-4 isn't really much of a stopper. Queen 9-4 would be a stopper. So I'm not really attracted to bidding one no trump. This hand is actually perfect for a double to show the two unbid suits. That shows some points, because your partner will presumably have to bid at the two level. It shows something like 8 or more points. And it shows the two unbid suits, both minors in this case. So that's my vote. As long as your partner understands that that's a negative double showing the unbid suits, I think that's a good bid there. The problem with passing is that your partner then has no idea whether you have anything at all in your hand. And you're a bit too weak to bid two clubs or two diamonds. That should show more like 10 points. So the double is perfect there as long as your partner understands it. By the way, I don't really like bidding two hearts. I will support my partner with 3 cards in a major, but not really with 2 cards. So yes, my vote goes for double. And the bidding then continues. East now bids 2 hearts. They didn't really care about your suits. And South has bid 2 spades. And now you pass, and that's the final contract. So let's have a think about this. I think I'm going to lead my partner suit here, and I've got the ace, so I lead the top of a doubleton, and down comes dummy. I can see North doesn't have much. They never bid anything. And your partner plays the 9, so that's presumably encouraging. They want you to carry on in that suit, which you happily do. And their partner, they play the jack, which wins the trick. Okay. And you should be thinking about the heart situation here. 2 rounds have gone, that's 8. 2 in dummy, 9, 10. So it's very likely that East has got all the remaining hearts because they bid that suit quite strongly. So they carry on with the king of hearts, and declarer doesn't ruff, they discard a club. And I've got the final poll of the afternoon now, which is, what are you going to play? Are you going to play a spade or a diamond or a club? And 50% have gone for a club, followed by a diamond, and 3 people ruffed. So let's go back to that. Well, if declarer had ruffed instead of discarding, if they'd ruffed with a low spade, I would have over-ruffed. And in fact, my holding in spades, Jack 9-4, is one where I may well make a trick if declarer ruffs high. So if instead of discarding they had ruffed with the ace, king, or queen, that then would promote my jack. I hope you can see that I would now make a trick with my jack of spades. So I'm not going to ruff this because my partner's already winning it, and I'm going to discard something. And it's not obvious what to discard, but given that South has started discarding clubs, I think I'm going to discard clubs as well. I don't know whether my clubs or my diamonds are going to be more useful here, but when you're in this situation, it's often a good guideline to follow the same discards as declarer is making. In other words, he's more likely to have interest in diamonds, given that he's discarding clubs here. So I'm going to discard a club. And my partner's king wins the trick. And now my partner plays the ace of clubs. And okay, that's good. He's taken a trick there. And he now shifts back to hearts. He plays the queen of hearts here. And again, he's trying to give declarer a problem in terms of roughing low or roughing high. And I'll just bring up the four hands at this point, and you see that your partner now has led the queen, and now whatever declarer plays here, you're going to get, it's going to help, this play of the queen is going to help you make a trick. If he were to ruff low, you could over ruff, and if he were to ruff high, it promotes your jack. If instead he discards a diamond, then again, you don't need to ruff this. At this point, because he's been discarding diamonds, you can actually discard a diamond or a club here. And your partner's queen wins. He now plays another heart, his last heart. And again, this is going to help you. You can see at this point, if declarer could gain the lead here, he could make these remaining tricks because he's got 5 spades and 3 diamonds. But that play of the heart gives you a chance to make a trick with your jack. So if he roughs high, you would later make a trick with your jack. And if he roughs low, you can rough with the jack because declarer doesn't have any high trump in dummy. So played that way, you'll make 6 tricks. Now, whatever you play, declarer can ruff and can actually make the rest. But played that way, you would hold declarer to 7 tricks, down 1. Okay, so any questions on that? That was an example of discarding and following declarer's discards when you decide what to discard. So as I think you know, one of the most important rules for discarding is to try to keep length with dummy, if you can see a long suit in dummy, or keep length with declarer. And even though you can't see declarer's hand, if they start discarding a suit, that makes it more likely that it's okay for you to discard the same suit. Anyway, that ends the talk there. Anyone have any questions about any of those? There are a variety of hands there. They're not easy, but I think it's good to just try and think about the defense, think about what the various cards show, and so on. Anyone have any comments before we end the talk there? We'll start the game in about 10 minutes.